imagery, you can see that there seems to be some sort of a connector, a road. This is referred to as Rama's Bridge. The mainstream viewpoint is that Rama's Bridge is a chain of natural limestone shoals, but millions of Hindus believe the barrier is, in fact, an ancient bridge, one that was built by the god for whom it is named. Rama is a major Hindu deity, considered by some to be the supreme being. According to the ancient Sanskrit text, the Ramayana, Rama's wife was kidnapped and taken to the kingdom of Lanka. To rescue her, Rama used magical construction techniques to build a bridge to Lanka.
Some of the interesting details of the building of Rama's Bridge is that they were writing Rama's name on these stones, and that would magically levitate the stones. And some of these are very big stones too.
According to the mythology, Rama lived around 6,000 years ago, and there's an interesting fact that some geologists carbon date the material in the bottom, approximately dating around the same time, so that kind of corroborates whether or not the story is connected to the mythology, because the age of Rama is around that period.
In 2018, government officials in India voted against plans to cut a shipping link through the middle of the barrier, showing their support for the notion that the underwater structure known as Rama's Bridge was in fact built by the Hindu deity.
Rama's Bridge to Sri Lanka is real. And you have to ask yourself, was it built artificially by levitating stones and putting them there? That's what the Ramayana tells us.
Some of the mysteries we've investigated on ancient aliens are so baffling, we can only guess at what might explain them. And perhaps one of the most mystifying lies on the islands of Malta. Number 3 on our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, the Malta Cartwrights. In the middle of the Mediterranean Sea, just south of Sicily, lies the Republic of Malta. This tiny island nation boasts some of the most impressive megalithic structures on the planet. And crisscrossing the islands is something even more mysterious. A complex network of grooves carved into the bedrock, known simply as the Cartwrights.
Something that Malta is very well known for archaeologically, besides the megalithic temples, are the Cartwrights. These are ruts literally in the limestone rock.
We don't know what these Cartwrights are. You could speculate it was for a wagon, for a chariot. No, it was not, because sometimes they come together. The width changes all the time, so it cannot be for a chariot.
If you have grooves that were created by some sort of a transportation device, well, it had to have been pulled by something. So where are the footprints? There are no footprints. How and why the Cartwrights were formed remains a mystery, but their existence poses a profound possibility. Because some believe they may reveal that there was human activity on Malta many thousands of years before what has been suggested by mainstream archaeology. We have Cartwrights that go into the Mediterranean Sea, and then they also come out on the other side. How is this possible? Some of the Cartwrights that extend from dry land down into the sea have reportedly been found at depths of as much as 140 feet. This presents a critical clue as to just how long ago they must have been created.
I suspect that some of these Cartwrights are really ancient, and when I say really ancient, that is going back to before the end of the last ice age. So approximately 12,000 years or so. The Ice Age ended, we know. Some of these cart ruts going into the water, that would have been dry land when sea levels were much lower.
If you propose the idea that 12,000 years ago, which is a fact, the worldwide water levels were lower, then all of a sudden these cart ruts that go into the Mediterranean Sea make sense. The fact that these cart ruts exist, to me, illustrates that an advanced civilization must have existed at that time. If the cart ruts are more than 12,000 years old, as some researchers suggest, who would have been around to create them? It's a question that continues to baffle mainstream archaeologists. But according to local traditions, the megalithic structures on Malta were built by a race of giant beings who came to Earth from the stars. We have to be open to the possibility that whoever built these were not in fact human beings, but were perhaps a separate race, and their existence and even their origins is completely shrouded in mystery. Are the so-called cart ruts that not only crisscross Malta, but extend deep into the Mediterranean Sea, evidence of advanced otherworldly visitors? For ancient astronaut theorists, the answer is a resounding yes. And they suggest that the waters of our oceans not only contain evidence of extraterrestrial visitation in the distant past, but they are the location of encounters that are happening to this very day. Most people assume that UFOs are only seen up in the sky. What if I told you that some of the most widely reported sightings involve mysterious craft flying in and out of our oceans? Number 2 on our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, unidentified submersible objects. Hitachi Province, Japan, 1803. Local fishermen are astonished when a mysterious metal craft washes ashore that is unlike anything they have ever seen.
This craft was likened to the shape of a Japanese incense burner. It is almost literally a flying disc, a flying saucer. On the outside of this craft were multiple small metal plates, not too dissimilar to heat-resistant tiles that you find, say, on a space shuttle.
A hatch opened, and a young woman came out of the craft, dressed in clothes that had never been seen before, and speaking a language that nobody understood in the slightest.
The story of the strange craft appears in 3 different Japanese texts. Even today, modern historians struggle to understand what this means.
Another famous incident involving a strange craft emerging from underwater occurred in Yunnan Province, China on October 24th, 1991. A local man was fishing on Fuxian Lake on a clear and tranquil day when a large disc suddenly flew out of the water.
This strange craft actually emerged from the waters of the lake. He described it as a shining disc. This UFO was so close and so powerful that it actually tossed the boat around. And then rapidly, this craft just disappeared up into the sky.
San Diego, California, July 15th, 2019. Navy personnel aboard the USS Omaha capture footage of a mysterious round object flying into the ocean. Night footage actually shows a craft that is spherical and is flying through the air, and then suddenly flies into the water without making a splash. Japan, China, San Diego. These are just 3 out of hundreds of reports of what are known
flying. You see them off the coast of California. You see a lot in the Gulf of Mexico. Spend some time on the Florida Gulf Coast, you will see USO.
These objects are flying along through the atmosphere, and then suddenly they go into the ocean. No splash, no wave, nothing. They swim right into the water, and they come out of the water in many cases, fly away. Now, one such never came out of the water, and a submarine was actually dispatched to look for a craft that may have crashed, but never found anything.
The stresses and strains by flying through the atmosphere in outer space and then plunging into the oceans would be enough to rupture any of our known aircraft.
For ancient astronaut theorists, perhaps the most compelling story of an extraterrestrial presence in Earth's oceans can be found in an account from 1492, recorded by Christopher Columbus.
There's a famous story about Christopher Columbus, and he wrote this in his journals, that as he was moving west across the Atlantic towards the Caribbean in his first voyage, he saw a light out in the ocean to the west, hovering over the water, and this light then descended into the water. So he's perhaps one of the first witnesses to describe a transmedium craft like this, which can hover above the water and then disappear into it like a submarine.
Stories of undersea objects, glowing objects that fly out of water have been around for well over thousands of years. Or these machines the extraterrestrials have under the water.
There is only one mystery left on our countdown, and you don't want to miss it, because what was discovered just may be evidence of an underwater alien base. On Ancient Aliens, we've investigated the ocean's biggest mysteries for evidence of extraterrestrial contact in the distant past. But recent satellite images may suggest that otherworldly beings are inhabiting our oceans today. Number 1 on our list of the top 10 mysteries of the deep underwater alien bases. Southern California, with almost 200 miles of coastline. This picturesque region is famous for its beaches, surfing, and abundant sea life. It is also a hotspot for sightings of mysterious lights in the water.
Folks have seen lights in the water outside Point Dume off the Malibu coast. There is a very strange 911 from an observer near Point Dume, saying he saw a light coming out of the water and calling it into the sheriff's station.
One theory about this transmedium travel, these USOs, is that what we're seeing is evidence of underwater bases. They're operating here, but under the oceans, right under our noses.
While the idea of underwater alien bases in Earth's oceans may sound like science fiction, in 2014, satellite imagery revealed a very curious formation on the seabed, 6 miles off the coast of Malibu.
The satellite photos show what seems to be an oval, flat-topped structure that's got legs coming down that are holding it up. It's about 2,000 feet underwater.
A lot of people got very excited by this discovery. It's really quite striking, and it really does look artificial. And it makes you wonder, is this, as some believe, an extraterrestrial base?
Is there a connection between the strange lights seen in the waters off the coast of Southern California and the mysterious undersea structure captured in the satellite image? For some scientists, it's a distinct possibility.
If all these objects are buzzing our aircraft, they must have a base of operation. But you see, if they have a base of operations that's easily detected by us humans, it would sort of defeat the purpose of observing us. So perhaps there's an underwater base
space that is away from prying eyes of humans so that we don't interfere with their plans, that cannot be ruled out.
While the formation discovered deep in the ocean off the coast of Malibu is highly unusual, it is not entirely unique. Across the globe, mysterious anomalies have been detected on the seabed that some suggest are underwater alien structures.
The Under-Ocean Geological Survey determined there were dome-like structures between Cuba and the coast of Florida. Is that a USO base? Because underwater, underneath our oceans, best place. The very best place to conceal yourself. Absolutely anything could be hiding within the oceans. So, depths of them could hide vehicles, could even hide bases. For hundreds, if not thousands of years, we would not be aware of their presence.
Oceans have everything that the crew of a ship would need to survive. It's got plants and animals that can be harvested for food. There are minerals and salt that it can take in from the water. You can even separate the hydrogen from the oxygen in the water to create fuels and air to breathe. Everything that is necessary for life can be found in the oceans. And it may be that if extraterrestrials are in our oceans, they're not just hiding there. This may be their preferred environment.
The idea that alien bases might be hidden on the ocean floor is incredibly thrilling. But while much of the ocean's depths remain impossible to explore, ancient astronaut theorists believe that the deeper we go, the closer we'll get to the truth about mankind's extraterrestrial past.
Sunken continents, said to have once been home to advanced civilizations. An ancient shipwreck containing what might be evidence of Atlantis. And unidentified submersible objects moving through our oceans. For more than a decade, Ancient Aliens has traveled the globe to investigate some of the most puzzling discoveries made in the depths of our oceans. Now, we're exploring the top 10 mysteries of the deep that just may hold the proof that Earth has been visited by extraterrestrials.
The ocean is the most mysterious place on Earth. It covers 70% of our planet, and 2% of it has been explored. In fact, we know more about the surface of Mars than we do about the bottom of our own oceans. But what we have discovered in the depths is a treasure trove of evidence for the ancient astronaut theory, like an incredible underwater formation that was found off the coast of Japan in the 1980s. Number 10 on our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, the Yonaguni Monument.
In the Pacific Ocean, at the westernmost tip of the Japanese archipelago, lies the small island of Yonaguni. In 1987, in nearby waters, dive tour operator Kiichiro Aratake made a shocking discovery. He found a massive complex of stone formations that lay hidden a mere 60 feet beneath the ocean surface.
It's an absolutely incredible structure. It looks like a giant staircase. There are steps in the bedrock with terraces. The symmetry and the regularity that people see on it just makes an astounding impression.
It looks like a huge, multifaceted pyramid platform that stretches over a huge area with all these details carved into it. There's areas where monoliths were said to have been standing. There's even dolmens or large slabs like lintels covering areas and created doorways and other features.
Although some researchers suggest that the so-called Yonaguni Monument is simply a rock formation, many experts, including Japanese archaeologist Masaki Kimura, have come to believe it is an artificial structure that was built in the distant past.
There are several reasons why I think this is not a natural formation. A number of tools and numerous engraved stones were found at the site. Because of these things, there is no doubt to me that this was made artificially.
There are all these different cuts that seem to be of artificial origin and not of a natural origin. Because it's too precise. Was the Yonaguni artificially altered at a time when the water levels of the oceans were lower? We know that this happened at some point during the last ice age, which was 14,000 years ago.
Could this massive underwater structure really be the remnants of an advanced civilization that existed here on Earth more than 10,000 years ago? And if so, who built it?
The Yonaguni Monument is particularly interesting because some reports suggest that this was built 20,000 years ago. So the question is, how was it built with this limited ability of these people that were known to have exist in that time? If they had extraterrestrial help, it would solve a lot of problems in trying to understand how a civilization could mount such an daunting enterprise without what we see are the necessary skills to do so.
Was Yonaguni built thousands of years ago with the help of extraterrestrial beings? Perhaps clues about its construction can be found in the mythology of Japan's royal family.
It was said in ancient Japan that the dragon god lived at the bottom of the ocean. His daughter had a daughter, and her child was Jinu, the first emperor of Japan. To be descended from a dragon is to be from the divine dimension of nature, but also from the stars.
When these underwater structures of Yonaguni were found, the Japanese became thrilled. They believed that evidence for extraterrestrials was right there in southern Japan.
To me, the Yonaguni Monument presents clear evidence that an advanced society existed on Earth long before our earliest recorded history. And in fact, numerous ancient cultures around the world tell similar stories of lost civilizations, including one that ended up submerged beneath the sea. Number 9 in our countdown of the top 10 mysteries of the deep, the lost continent of Mu.
The Pacific Ocean. This body of water is the largest on Earth, covering more than 63 million square miles. Curiously, many ancient peoples living throughout this vast expanse share the same story of a long-lost, sunken civilization, often referred to as the Moria, or Moon.
Mu was this huge continent that supposedly existed from Hawaii in the north down to Easter Island in the southeast, right the way across to Micronesia in the west. It thrived perhaps 50,000 years ago and was sunk beneath the waves, possibly at the end of the last ice age.
Among the many legends expressed by Polynesians and native Hawaiians, one is that the lost continent of Mu was home to visitors from the Pleiades.
We have more kind of connection with the Pleiades, but we call it Napoi Kalani, the people of the heaven. According to our traditions, there are some people that lost. And these are what we call the Mu or the Lemurian people, you might
Romans were the original settlers of Mu. While most mainstream scholars dismiss the stories of Mu as being little more than a fanciful myth, ancient astronaut theorists claim that remnants of Mu can still be found today in the mysterious ruins of Nan Madol.
Nam Madol is a huge basalt city that sits on the edge of the island of Pompeii in Micronesia, that's in the Pacific Ocean. It's made up of hundreds of thousands, potentially millions of these huge basalt columns. And much of the site is still submerged in the water, suggesting it must have been built many thousands of years ago.
Some people actually suggested that maybe Nan Madol was the last remnant of Mu that was still above water. And it was simply indicative of what had sunk beneath the waves from this advanced civilization.
Could it be that the structures on Nan Madol are ruins of an ancient extraterrestrial civilization known as Mu? According to Rufino Maurizio, the director of the Federal States of Micronesia Office of National Archives, it's a distinct possibility.
The existence of Nan Madol itself continues to puzzle people because it welcomes all kinds of possibilities, including possibilities of people from the outer space influencing what was built here.
Legends of lost civilizations and sunken cities can be found in cultures all around the world, but one has captured the public's imagination more than any other, and some believe we may have found evidence of its existence in the Bermuda Triangle. Number 8 on our top 10 mysteries.